Welcome to Mr. V Teaching Math. In this session, we're looking at the classification of polygons. Here are a whole list of different polygons, some of which we've done already. A triangle, yeah, we've done one of those before. It's a three-sided shape. Quadrilateral is a four-sided shape. We have a five-sided shape, a six-sided shape, the seven-sided shape, the eight-sided shape. The kite, the rectangle, the rhombus, the square, and the parallelogram. All of these we need to know. Some of them we've done already. Here we have the triangle, the three-sided shape. A quadrilateral, any four-sided shape. I haven't got here an example of pentagon, hexagon, septagon, heptagon, or octagon, but you can go look those up elsewhere. And a kite. This is what a kite looks like. But especially what we want to focus on is these four. Rectangle, rhombus, square, and parallelogram. And how they're connected to the definition of quadrilateral. For you see, all five of those are closely connected. And I'm going to explain that using this particular diagram. So here's a quadrilateral. This is a four-sided figure. So if we take a look at these other shapes, are these quadrilaterals? Do they have four sides? Well, yes, they do. That means each one of these shapes is a quadrilateral. They have other names as well, but they are also a quadrilateral. So everything on this page is a quadrilateral. Now, this shape, this is called a parallelogram. And that has two parallel sides. These symbols here indicate parallel lines. That is parallel with that, and that's parallel with that. Therefore, this is a parallelogram. The definition is two parallel sides. But let's take a look at this shape. Does it have two parallel sides? Yes, this is a parallelogram. Does this have two parallel sides? Yes, it's a parallelogram. Does this have two parallel sides? Yes, it's a parallelogram. Does this have two parallel sides? No, it does not. That is not a parallelogram. This is a quadrilateral because it qualifies. It has four sides. And it's a parallelogram. This is only a quadrilateral. So some of these definitions, this has two names. This is a quadrilateral parallelogram. Okay. What else? Over here, we have the rectangle. Now, what makes a rectangle a rectangle? Well, it has two parallel sides. But that's not all. See these little symbols in the corner? Four right angles. So, it's a parallelogram because it has two parallel sides. It is also a quadrilateral because it has four sides, but it's specifically a rectangle because it has four right angles. You could call this a parallelogram, you can call this a quadrilateral, you can call it a rectangle. This, however, is not necessarily a rectangle. It doesn't have the four right angles. And this is not necessarily a rectangle because it doesn't have the four right angles. The four right angles plus the two parallel sides mean that's a rectangle. What's this shape? This is called a rhombus. And by the way, some of my students might be saying, but Mr. V, you told us not to do any freehand drawings, and this one looks a little bit sloppy. You're right, it does, but you'll notice right here there's some faint pencil marks, and those are my guidelines to make sure I've done it correctly. A rhombus. What makes a rhombus a rhombus? Well, first of all, it has two parallel sides. What else did it have? See these little hash marks here? Four equal sides. So, a rhombus has two parallel sides and four equal sides. Therefore, this is a parallelogram, and it's a quadrilateral, and it's a rhombus. But this is not a rectangle, because you'll notice that the rectangle has a 90-degree angle. This one doesn't. A rectangle, this has four equal sides, and that one doesn't. So this one and this one don't match because the definition doesn't fit. All right? So a rhombus can be a parallelogram. And a rhombus can be a quadrilateral, but a rhombus cannot be a rectangle because it doesn't qualify. A rectangle can be a parallelogram. A rectangle can be a quadrilateral, but a rectangle cannot be a rhombus because it doesn't qualify. Last shape, the square. It has 2 parallel sides. It has 4 equal sides, and it has 4 right angles. So let's take a careful look here. What definitions does the square qualify for? Well, it has the 2 parallel sides and 4 equal sides, so a square is also a rhombus. Let's look over here. Does it qualify for a rectangle? Does it have 2 parallel sides and 4 right angles? Yes, it does. So a square is also a rectangle. Does it have 2 parallel sides? Yes, it does. So a square is also a parallelogram. Does it have 4 sides? Yes. So it's also a quadrilateral. This is a square, rhombus, rectangle, parallelogram, quadrilateral. The best definition, of course, is to call it a square. However, it is also a rectangle, it's also a rhombus, it's also a parallelogram, and it's also a quadrilateral. And that is all the different ways that you